Serious question. Is there any reason to watch this team?
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias, and with me, as always, is my producer, Steve Granado. Steve, happy Wednesday. Today's Wednesday, right?
Day nine.
Oh
Here
my
we
God.
are, 9 in a row. Hey, thanks so much for clicking on the show, guys. On today's show, will the streak reach 10? Let it ride. Hey, Pereira, Peraza, they're up. How are they going to use them? Aaron Boone went on Talking Yanks and talked about it. We got to dissect what he said and see if they're serious about that. But first, Stacey, as I mentioned, Pereira and Peraza are up. We didn't get a chance to actually talk about this on the mainline show just yet. The Yankees making the move officially on Tuesday. We got word of it on Monday. Greg Allen gets DFA'd, and McKinney goes to the 10-day with a lower back spasm. I imagine Allen probably clears waivers. So you might see him outrighted to Scranton Wilkes-Barre. McKinney did get retroed on that, so he can actually return before September call-ups. So just throwing that out there. Your thoughts on this move before we move on to last night's loss?
I'm happy about it because they need some sort of injection of youth. I mean, even if they don't do anything right away, it's just exciting to see these kids get this chance to play. And I'm happy that it looks like they're giving them the chance to play. They're not just coming up here because this early, they're not going to bring them up and not play them. Like, this was a calculated move by the Yankees finally, and good for them. It's about time.
It is about time. We're going to talk about it a little bit later on in the show, so make sure to stick around about how they're going to use them, how we think they should use them, and that kind of stuff. Stace, Carlos Rodon, last night, 6 innings, 6 hits, gave up an earned run on a solo shot, didn't walk anybody, only struck out 1. But, I mean, coming back from the IL, missing 2 weeks, missing 2 starts, what else do you want out of him? That was pretty much everything you could have asked for.
That was his best start of the year. I mean, like, that's exactly what we wanted from him. You can't really ask for much better than 6 innings and 1 run. It's just, you also have to remember that the offense isn't going to really score for you. So even if you give up 1 run, you're kind of in trouble. But there was one particular pitch that he made. Maybe it was in the strikeout. It was a slider that he threw that was really, really good. It was one of the better pitches I've seen him throw all year. And someone noticed that he had his shirt completely buttoned up. No chest hair was showing. So I don't know. Maybe he's going to have to keep it that way because he pitched 6 innings with his shirt closed all the way up.
Yeah, isn't it Canely that also does that? He shaves. Yeah, baseball players are weird.
Yes.
He pitched fairly well. That double play in the first was big. He definitely needed that to keep them off of the board at that point. He got a couple nice ground balls. He let his defense play, obviously just 1 strikeout, so it wasn't his massive stuff. But if you're looking for things to build off of, that's completely something you want. We're giving up 1 run in 6 innings, dude. Especially for this team right now, I will take that every day that ends in Y.
Yeah. Yep. I was laughing about how his defense really bailed him out like a few times, but it was good to see that. And it was all different people contributing to the defense. And, it was a crisp game. It's just, the pitching was good. The defense was good. And they can't get that third aspect working, the offense. It's just, it would have been a great game if they could have gotten the offense going.
Yeah, they rarely get all things working on the same night.
Mm-hmm.
And when they do, we come on the show and go, are they turning it around? No, the answer is no. The offense, Stace, the only offense of the night was Ben Rortvedt. That's it. Solo shot, got that hanger, and just deposited it in right field. There was a lot of hard contact. If we're gonna go the Aaron Boone route and go, there was a lot of good at bats last night, and there was a lot of hard contact. There was a lot of deep fly balls. That Peraza hard grounder to end the game there. That's just how she goes. Bader had good contact. Stanton made good contact. Everson Pereira, I liked his first trip to the plate. Good patience at the plate there. So again, not to
Yeah.
get too Aaron Boone on all this, but there were, quote me on this one, there were some good at bats last night.
No, really, there were. I was actually impressed with Pereira, especially the first at bat, because I mean that's got to be nerve-wracking just to be standing there. You're in Yankee Stadium. This is your dream. You're there, and I was very impressed with that at bat. Yeah.
Yeah, and he ended up swinging at the first pitch on, I think it was his second at bat. Ended up grounding out. So there are going to be plenty of growing pains there. Again, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. I don't want to single him out here in the early going. The obvious knock on this one is Tommy Kahnle giving that C.J. Abrams homer up, the solo shot in the 8th to make it 2-1. That changeup was not a bad pitch. It just wasn't. C.J. Abrams just went down and got that one. So that's again how she goes sometimes. Kahnle has been pretty much everything you could have wanted since coming back from the injured list. Let's see, that ended up ending a streak. Man, he hasn't given up an earned run since July 21st. So over a month without an earned run. He'd only given up one run unearned prior to that solo shot. So again, they stop every day, or say it with me now. The Yankees have to be perfect in order to win. Yep.
Unfortunately, it's just the way it goes this year. But yeah, they got it to 9.
What is that number meaning to you right now? Like, is it just like, I want you to try and zoom out a little bit of the like what this season has been, the minutia of this season, how it feels like 9 in a row almost feels like nothing at this point. But like when you put it in the grand scheme, think back to 2022 Stacy covering this team and now looking at this 9-game losing streak. Like, is this just baffling?
It actually is. Yeah. Like everything that's happening this season is just completely baffling. We've seen this team suffer through injuries and be okay with the injuries. And this year it's just, I can't even explain it. It's just so strange to me. I didn't think it was going to be an easy season for them, but I wasn't expecting this. This is just, and it seems like it's never going to end. I mean, we joked about it on the show the other day that, maybe, they'll just lose out the rest of the season, or let's see how long this losing streak can go. And now I feel like it could get to 11, could get to 12 at this point with the way the offense is just not doing anything.
Yeah, of course, we're going to preview game 2 a little bit later on, but Mackenzie Gore has been pitching pretty well recently as well, so that's not going to help anything out here tonight for game 2. But, man, it is like, yes, 9 in a row, it never looks good. We've said it for a while that the season is basically over and that they should lean in. Again, we're going to talk about it a little bit more, but do you feel like the Yankees are leaning in a little bit now? I mean, the Pereira, the Peraza call up, and, September's right around the corner. Boone was talking about it on Talking Yanks. So, like, well, maybe if Rizzo isn't good, then we're not going to push him. Like, it kind of is starting to feel like they're unofficially officially.
Oh, yeah. Finally. This should have been, not that they should have called these guys up 2 weeks ago, but it's basically, we've known that this was the direction the team was going in. We didn't expect a 9-game losing streak, obviously, but they just weren't. We talked about it when we were talking about the teams that were the biggest disappointments this season. I talked about how, from covering the Padres and writing about them, the Yankees are very similar in that way, and you joked about it earlier, where you think they're turning things around and they just never turn anything around. And it's been like that all year. And I feel like things could have been done sooner, just to, Rizzo, they don't need to bring him back. What are they bringing him back for? Just don't even risk anything. It's literally a head injury that he has. So let's just keep Rizzo out, bring more kids up to play, and let them have fun in the last month of the season, and you don't have to stress about trying to win a wild card, because there's no way you're going to do it. So just let these kids play and give the fans something to actually look forward to watching, instead of watching all these old guys, getting out all the time and not having fun.
They basically have to go 30-7.
They have a better chance of going 7-30 at this point.
That's basically where they're at. If they go 30-7, they'd finish 8 games over 5. and that in this year's wild card race might be enough to get the third wild card spot. The American League has been very competitive this year, very competitive.
Speaking of that, just briefly, the Seattle Mariners are suddenly right behind the Rangers and the Astros, not even just wild card, because they're in the third wild card spot, but now they're right behind them for the division lead. Rangers have been in the division lead all season. They've been tied a couple times, but they had pulled ahead. September's going to be fun. So, if you're sick of watching the Yankees lose all the time and you want to keep track of something, keep track of the AL West, because it could get really, really interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Rangers were in a bit of a free fall, then kind of got it back on track at the deadline, and now have lost, as of this recording, 5 straight. They're playing as we record this. So, it's obviously not, it's been kind of rocky the last month and a half or so for the Texas Rangers. So, but that's not what this show is about. This show is about the Yankees, of course. We are going to step aside. Don't throw us out at second base. Stick around. Leave your questions in the comments section down below. Of course, you can join our subtext. We have a brand new subtexter. Hello to you. Thank you so much for joining us. They joined us right before the show started, so pretty cool there. Coming up next, as we mentioned, Pereira, Peraza, they're up. How are they going to be used?
For a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So the next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time around. Just add your ride to My Garage and look for the green check to know the part will fit, or your money back. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop on eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers, eligible items only, and exclusions apply.
Back now here on Locked On Yankees. Hey, don't forget tonight, Yankees, Nationals, Game 2, SiriusXM. Is it going to reach 10? Download the SiriusXM app and find out for yourself. And coming up on tomorrow's show, Jason Dominguez, as a part of all these roster moves, was called up to the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders. We got to talk about that. We have been a little on edge about that. Is that the right move? We're going to find out. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk through it on tomorrow's show, so make sure you hit subscribe. All right, Stace. Peraza, Pereira. Let's call the whole thing off.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, Peraza, Pereira. Boone said on Talkin' Yanks, they're going to play a lot. They plan on playing them a lot. Now, in a different world, in a spring training world, I'm going, oh, yeah, are you? Are you now? Mm-hmm. But money, mouth, Volpe, going to be the starting shortstop. He's been the starting shortstop. So yeah. I tend to believe this. Do you?
Yes, I actually do believe this. I do. I think I actually
Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's a writer strike, but that is what we call character development. They plan on playing Pereira primarily in left. He can also play the other outfield spots. Peraza is likely to play mostly third, which, can I one more time soapbox this? Then why hasn't he been playing third in Scranton Wilkes-Barre? I don't know why they keep doing this. I get it. Shortstop, more range. No, but if he's going to be playing third, let him play third. I don't get it. Okay, soapbox done. Stace, I also wanted to bring this up because I'm petty. Strikeout rate difference this season at AAA between Pereira and Estevan Florial. 1.7% different. I just wanted to throw that out there. Just saying. Back to Peraza. Your thoughts on him playing mostly third?
Well, I agree with you that, they probably had this in mind for a while and that he should have been doing this in Scranton. But also, how long has Josh Donaldson been hurt? He could have been up here already. That annoys me. He could have been up here already because he played last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
silly
like
of them.
cause like we anticipated the Greg Allen DFA for a week at this point. Look, I have nothing against Greg Allen. He was 5 inches from ending a terrible drought there for a second 2 days ago on Sunday.
Yeah.
Who knows? They could have totally still lost regardless. But besides the point, I have no problem with him whatsoever. But why was he on this roster for so long? I don't get, because you didn't want to give playing time to Peraza? Like, were they worried about like, oh, this looks like we're giving up on the season? I was like, does it though? Does
No.
it? I don't get it. I don't get
No.
what took so long. But they're here. Okay. They're here now.
Finally.
And I think it's fair here that Peraza gets almost an everyday role here at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Because if Volpe got it, it's only fair that Peraza gets it.
I agree with that. Yes.
A little
Yep.
less bullish on Pereira.
Right. Yeah. But definitely Peraza. I still, the whole Donaldson thing annoys me still. I mean, it's been, like a year and a half since that trade started or it happened. But just when I think about how both Peraza and Volpe could have been up in some way if Donaldson wasn't on the team, just, I mean, I know it wouldn't have been easy for them to get rid of him because of all the money that they took on by taking him. But last year showed he wasn't going to do much of anything. He was pretty much done. And it's just, there's so many previous moves that screwed with these kids, basically, is what I'm saying. And it's annoying to me. But he's here. I'm happy that he's here. I hope he takes advantage of this situation. And he better be in the everyday lineup in 2024. That's all I'm saying.
And we're going to stick to how we've been saying it and how we said it since spring training. Give him time.
Yes.
Gotta give him time. You can't just expect the world out of this kid the second he gets there.
Right.
Because we treated Volpe with kid gloves. If you're going to do that, fair is fair. You got to do the same thing for Oswald, and you got to do the same thing for Pereira. You can't get them here and go like, why aren't you hitting 300? Like, give it a second, guys. Give it a second. Yeah. Stacey, as I mentioned, we're closing in on September here. We're like 2 weeks away. So, start writing those rent checks. But who's next? Who's that September call-up? We've kind of talked about it on a couple of occasions. We talked about it last week, but this throws a different wrench into the system now that Pereira and Peraza are there. Let's call the whole thing off. Who's next? Austin Wells? Andre Chaparro? Are they going to go a little less in your face and go for a pitcher like Matt Crook? And like I mentioned, Billy McKinney will be eligible to return on August 31st. They made that back spasm IL retro one day, and I don't think that was a mistake.
Oh, yeah, no, that was definitely...
that might just be add McKinney.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I would love for them to bring up Wells just because, again, the stash, but also I feel like they should give him they should just, I don't know. I mean, I wish there was a way they could just bring the whole AAA team up and send the Yankees to Music. That'd be pretty cool because I feel like the AAA team could probably do a little better than the Yankees in September.
They're in a playoff hunt. Hunt.
Yeah.
I think they could use a Judge bat down there.
I think so. Yeah. Austin Wells was actually trending on Twitter today. I didn't see exactly why, but I figured it was just Yankee fans being like, bring him up. So, the Yankee fans want to see the kids. They just want something to cheer for. And like, what are you going to lose if you bring any of these guys up? Again, they're not playing for anything. So just bring them up, see what they can do. I mean, this is basically almost like spring training now because the Yankees aren't playing for anything. So you might as well let them try and see what they can do.
I know that some people in Scranton Wilkes-Barre would totally be against everything you're saying.
Oh, I know.
Like, hey, we're still playing for something. Don't you kick us out yet.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry.
The question of whether Jason Dominguez gets called up, I find a little laughable. A little. Yeah. He just got called up to AAA, as we mentioned. We're going to again talk about that on tomorrow's show. So again, make sure to hit subscribe to see how that is, see what our thoughts are. Don't just to quell those rumors now. Dominguez as a September call up, 40-man. Same for Wells, same for Chaparro. That's why I brought up Crook. There are other guys like Spencer Howard. They could do something, things like that. Nick Ramirez would be eligible at that point to come back. So they could do a little bit lighter, especially if King keeps pushing this long relief, AKA starter thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I it's still an interesting question to me, and I'm curious to see what direction they go. I'm curious. Let us know in the comment section which direction you would go. And if you say Jason Dominguez, I'm deleting your comment. No, I'm not going to do that. Of course, you want Jason Dominguez, but he's only 20 and 40 man and unlikely.
And he literally only played one game in AAA so far. So calm yourselves.
He's like 4 at-bats. Relax, guys.
Yeah.
Again, we're going to talk about that on tomorrow's show. Coming up in just a second, however, we're going to talk about this next game, Game 2 against the Nationals. Stick around. Back here on Locked On Yankees, don't forget Game 2 against the Nationals is tonight. SiriusXM is the place to catch all the action. Download the SiriusXM app today. Get yourself a free trial wherever you can. Nats, Yanks, Stace, Game 2. Are they going to score more than one run?
No.
Oh, come on now. Well, that would keep my bold prediction intact.
They might not even score a run.
That would keep my bold prediction intact.
Yeah. I mean,
Ben Rortvedt.
It's getting to the point where, it's not a shutout. Yay. That used to be a goofy thing earlier in the season. Like if they ever had like a blowout game and, you were waiting for them to score in the 9th and they would score, it's not a shutout. But now it's like every game you're like, okay, it's not a shutout.
Yeah, we were like, making goofs about that when the Yankees were like 6 games over 500. We're like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Mackenzie Gore takes the ball. He is coming off of a gem. Absolute gem against the Red Sox. 6 1/3, a hit, shutout, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. How about this, Stace? 5 of his last 7 starts, he's been charged with 3 runs or less. He's had a couple of stinkers. Those 2, the 6th and the 7th games there, were not very good. Also, one of those 5 was only an inning and a third. But overall, Mackenzie Gore, for as much as he couldn't put it together in San Diego, just like the Nationals just kind of as a whole, he's starting to put it together.
Is it possible this could be a reverse lock situation where, I always joke that when a guy comes in with like a 5 or 6 ERA, the Yankees aren't going to do anything against him? And is it possible that the Yankees, who can't hit water if they fell out of a boat, might actually hit this guy on Wednesday?
Like I said, there's been a couple of stinkers. There's been a couple of 5 runs, 6 runs outings for this team.
Yeah, I know.
Are you seriously asking me at this point?
I mean, anything is possible, obviously, right?
Anything is possible. Yeah. Anything is possible. Sevy takes the mound. Speaking of anything is possible, 4 innings, 5 hits, gave up a pair of homers his last time out against Atlanta. 3 earned, 5 total, a pair of walks and 5 strikeouts. He's never faced the Nationals before, Stace.
Don't give me an inning. Think about.
Yeah,
right? It's
for as long as he's been around. Yeah. Don't give me the innings. I don't want to know the innings because who knows with the innings.
Right.
What do you want out of Sevy?
I just want him to I'd like for him to last a bit, and I would like for him to maybe only give up 2 runs and maybe no home runs. That would be something.
Yeah, I think avoiding the homer. And I think for me, it's avoiding the snowball effect.
Right.
Of, second pitch of the inning, single. Oh, okay.
Or avoiding a bad first inning.
Yeah.
Also, getting through the first.
Getting through that, and when you inevitably get runners on, is bearing down out of your stretch.
Yeah.
Remember, he kind of switched back. He switched back to his old windup his last time out. Did that make a difference? I don't know. Who really knows? If it's a comfort thing, it's a comfort thing, whatever. But really, for me, it's the snowballing, man. It's something that he really needs to control. Getting out of jams. He certainly has gotten into them. He just hasn't gotten out of them. And the amount of times he's getting pulled and he's sweating and he's pulling the hat off and he's walking out and he's looking down at the ground. We can't have that anymore. Sevy can't have that anymore. If he wants a major league contract next season, he's got to figure it out. And I think it starts there. It's being able to bear down when things start to hit the fan a little bit, because they're going to again. I can't foresee this being a smooth outing from start to finish.
Right.
Because look at what happened in game 1 with Rodon. He got into trouble in that first inning. And what happened? He got a double play ball. Sevy needs that moment to kind of go, okay, they got my back. Not the hard contact, not gap to gap, but it's getting that ground ball. He needs that ground ball because he's, again, inevitably going to run into that issue tonight.
Yeah, I feel like they need to show him that wild card game against Minnesota that he pitched all those years ago where he gave up the 3 runs right away, but then Didi hit the 3-run home run to tie, and then he really settled down and he pitched really well. And I feel like they need to show him that, you can do this. You've done it. You need to get back to this, because that was the one thing about Sevy is he would get into trouble and he'd be able to get out of it. And he hasn't been able. And I think that's what's really bothering him, because he knows that he used to be able to do that. And he can't figure out why he's having so many issues doing that now, where he just, like you said, it's a snowball effect. It's maddening to watch him pitch because it's just so opposite of how he normally is. And I don't understand how they haven't been able to figure anything out yet. I mean, it's been months of this now where, usually by now you can kind of figure out what someone's doing and maybe fix it. And I don't feel like this almost feels like his career's over with the way he's pitching so badly, but it can't be. I feel like there needs to be something done and fixed. And I really hope he finds his way. Yeah,
he clearly has more life in that arm.
Yeah.
Keep your eye on his finish. We've talked about his finish. Keep your eye on his head. I noticed his head in that Atlanta outing. While he had better numbers than he's had this year. Keep his eye on his head angle. We talked about kind of his angle coming off of the mound and the release point and the deception that he typically likes to create with that. But keep your eye on his head. I feel like it was a little kind of wild his last time out. He kind of, again, I'm not comparing it to any other starts, just his last start in particular. I felt like he had a lot of head movement, and you'd like to see him kind of settle that head movement down a little bit, get a better vision of the plate, get a better vision of his target, things like that. These kind of small mechanical things that I'm keeping my eye out for here when I watch tonight's game. So just a little word to the wise. Those are the things I'm looking for, the way he finishes and the way his head moves as he lets go of the ball. So just keep your eye on that. Don't forget, coming up on tomorrow's show, Jason Dominguez up in AAA. We're going to talk about that, how we feel about it, and what we can expect out of the Martian in his first trip to AAA ball. That's coming up tomorrow's show. Make sure to subscribe for that. And that's going to do it for today's Locked On Yankees. I'm Steve Granado.
And I'm Stacey Gotsulias. We will see you tomorrow.